Hello and welcome to the Pirated Material Podcast, or Pirated FM, or Pirated Radio. I'm a bit unsure as to what I'm going to call it yet. This is a conversational podcast about the creative industry that looks to shine a light on some of the freshest talent around. Personally, I think if you look at the content that's being produced by people right now on the creative industry, it can be from the perspectives of people that have been around for sometimes 30 plus years, and whilst their experiences are invaluable and amazing to listen to, I think that oftentimes the voices of the people at the other end of the scale can get lost in the shuffle. So this podcast is essentially a platform for people that are just getting into design, or maybe students, just to voice their opinions on the world of design, where they see it going, things like that. I'll also hopefully be speaking to people up and down the industry to ask them some of the bigger questions, such as talking about, is the design world diverse enough, and whether education is really worth it anymore. I'm also hoping at some point to speak to some leaders in design education who run some of the most celebrated courses in the world to really try and understand the ethos that each course has, and hopefully give students that are about to go into a degree another resource to learn about the people that run the courses, what differs between each course, and things like that. In this first episode, I interviewed I'm going to butcher his name, Chad Danieley, who is the gentleman who designed the Joker logo for the movie Joker. We talk about his work, how he got into design, and also where he sees the design industry going in the next few years. So, without further ado, I hope you enjoy. George, can you press the button on the... No, yeah, press the play on the... No, yeah, press the... Hang on. The button. The button. No, that's the wrong one. The button. Look at what I'm pointing. The button. The big button there. No, you're missing it. That's the button. Press the... Hang on, wait. Enjoy. Okay, press... So I guess first I just wanted to ask, how did you get, for people listening, if you could just give them a bit of background on yourself and things like that?
Yeah, let me see. My name's Chad. I grew up in Southern California, the desert mostly. So I was never cool like the LA kids. And then I went to Art Center in Pasadena, which I tried to go somewhere far away, but it was like literally the place I wanted to go was like 45 minutes away. So, and I went there. And I graduated I graduated in December of 2001. From there, I started I was way into motion design and animation and stuff like that. And so I started to take that route. And after school, I freelanced for probably about the first 6 years in various places. Like, I had a really good experience with that. And then probably about 8 years at NBC for E the Gossip Channel, and then probably for the last 5 years, I've been 5-6 years been freelancing again, which I think is where I belong.
No, that's fair. I think there's paths for everyone, I think, nowadays, isn't there? So you don't have to necessarily take a certain route with things, which is fine. And then I guess moving on from that was, I was looking at I followed you for a couple of years on your Instagram, and I love sort of your collage stuff that you do on there. And I just wanted to ask, have you always been into letterpress, I guess? Is that something that you've always been into since the start of your career, that you've sort of gone through? Because it seems as if, whilst you have used it in some of your work, it seems as if it's sort of a passion project as well. So if you could just touch on that.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, totally. No, it's actually, yeah, it's really important to me. So whenever when I went to Art Center, they had a letterpress shop there, and I think it was near the end when people were kind of like, everyone was throwing out all of their stuff because they're like, these are dead, and I just found them. And what's really funny is that I'm like, find myself extremely techno. My dad bought a computer in 1984, the first Mac, and he had no idea how to use it. And he just threw it to me and my brother and said, figure this out. This is the future. So I've always been really not obsessed, but really, really into technology and how things work. And then I found, and I use the computer every day, but I find there's something about that whenever I started doing letterpress stuff, it just made it, I don't know, emotionally better for me. I really like. Sometimes I feel trapped in the computer. I feel there's something about the dimensionality of it, or of letterpress that also it really helps my day work a lot, and the collage as well. Like all those are analog. I don't know how to. I wouldn't know how to do them in or the outcome to be in a digital form, because the options, like to me, are like always they're unlimited in the computer. And then there's something I find a very, very, very liberating when some choice has been taken away, and it's just something magical that happens. So I think it really helps my day work, for companies. So I've been doing that since I took, probably when I first was out of school, I didn't, because you're busy working, trying to hustle, get jobs. And then when you got to a certain point, I could buy a small little press and just kind of mess around. And that's been for like probably eight years I've had my own press.
I think personally the tactile nature of sort of letterpress is really nice if you compare that to, because when you're working on computer, as you said, it's sort of you can't touch it, can you? You lose that sense of sort of being able to actually move the type by hand and things like that. And I think using sort of letterpress stuff, it gives it a lot more dimensionality to your work and things like that. And I guess piggybacking on the back of that, how did you get your work for sort of the Joker role and things like that? And I also wanted to just ask, am I right in thinking that you've worked on other movies and sort of TV shows and things like that as well?
Yeah, a lot of what work I usually do is entertainment related. So it was like, back when it started, it was like doing, commercials. But then I found that TV shows and stuff they're not as rigid. They're not like there's something about it. But so yeah, I right now I've been doing a lot of stuff for TV film for the whole time. But let me see. So the Joker was it's really lucky. It was not overthought at all. It was it happened. I was working on. I think I was doing how it works is they'll kind of just work on different logos at all, different times. So I was working on a couple of Netflix shows, and then the producer was like, "Oh, hey, you should do something for this." And he just described it to me. It's really funny. I feel there's something actually really important that, at least for me, that I didn't know too much. It was just kind of a verbal description, and it's dark, this and go and. I think I was doing like how I normally will start, in Illustrator or by hand, and just kind of like, what do I got? Where are we at? And then I think I hit a brick wall, and I just had a sample. I do like sample sheets of just so I can scan them in and bring them in. And I remember I had that on my Dropbox. And I just downloaded it, and that was that one sheet. It was like, Actually, I'm sorry. It was actually reverse. That was the first thing I did. Now I'm thinking about it. It was the first thing I did, and I actually put it away. I just thought it was like I was just getting warmed up in the morning, kind of just like, oh, we're going to play with type, play with shapes. How are they going to go? What do you think? And then I got to just put it away. I concentrated for it was probably 2-3 days. We worked on that. And the rest were Illustrator ones, and I wouldn't have found them interesting either when I look back at them. And that one it just screamed, "Take me!" It was pretty magical. It was not overthought at all. And I sometimes overthink a lot, and I think that's actually was the best part, that it was actually just, here's this thing, the Joker movie, they're not sure if it's actually going to totally happen still, because I guess it was like all kinds of like, studios are on, off. So you just do a lot of stuff. There's things that I've submitted all the time. I don't even know what happened to them. And yeah, so that just kind of was like, bam, just don't think, just do it, and turned it in. And I think they were saying, "Oh yeah, they liked your logo. They're going to go with it." And I kind of, I just like, oh, I didn't think you're so used to them like doing 180s about halfway through the project. Studios, they'll be like, "Oh well, we're going to go with this one now." So I thought, oh, how am I going to get too excited until it's actually gone to a trailer, and then it happened, and I was like, whoa, that's so cool. It actually happened. It was just really that process. I think has always been at least the most successful for me. Not to overthink. Short time, limit yourself to a short amount of time. Boy, but do I love having a lot of time. But that's not. But just it's almost like cardio. I'm not huge into the gym, but like it's the idea of like just quick reps of stuff that and playing with type is really fun to me. I'm a user, not a maker. I have to clarify that because I people who make type, I have utmost admiration for them. The amount of attention to detail is blows my mind actually. So I think did I go off the rails there?
No, you're good. Sorry. That's fine. It's better to go off the rails. I think changing gears a little bit. And I guess I wanted to ask yourself where maybe you see the design industry going in the next sort of maybe 5 to 10 years. And I guess maybe with your case, with the more interest in sort of letterpress and sort of, physical print, do you see maybe actual physical print maybe dying off in the next sort of 10 years? Or will it become sort of a novelty thing, do you think? Or will it always sort of have that presence with people?
I don't know. I do want to make a poster that says "Print is dead and I have killed it." That was a little nod to Nietzsche. Since I'm not I've not really been involved in the print industry, meaning strategically print.
Sorry if that's too broad of a question, by the way.
I don't know how to. No. I know it's totally cool. I know it's totally because I constantly think about it. I guess I've always treated print material as a collectible item. So I think that would make me happy if it just stays around as something that people can connect with, because it actually makes it way more, I don't know, more important, but it connects more with an individual if they buy that thing, and I think it's way more, it's more of an honor than just having, dumping stuff in the trash, and you're like, feeling bad about it. Communication is so strange right now, how it works. When I say strange, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's I'm trying to figure out if there's actually a use for mass print in my head. I'm trying to think about it. Going, I mean, it's a weird question. But I graduated during a time that they were saying that print is dead. So that's 20 years later. So we're doing fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about, like, I think there's a level of sort of attention and importance might subside from it, in the sense, but in society, we in case it all collapses, we do need the printed stuff, right? I always wondered but I still collect flyers for shows and stuff. So, music shows and electronic events and stuff, and keep those. Those are, you're always going out for the Coachella lineup poster and the, all the, stuff like that. I think it's probably just more of specialty items. At least that's what I would be most happy doing. Again, coming from the gig poster kind of world, I really love the music related to the poster. And it was like, you look at the album cover and listen to the music, and it's an engulfing experience.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of gig posters myself. I haven't got I don't know if I explained. I'm a student at the moment, so I'm sort of aiming this at trying to educate students on the sort of the future of design, I guess, and trying to give them a platform to speak, because I don't think there's many platforms for people who are just getting into the industry. It's mostly just people that have sort of been in the industry for a very long time. So I'm trying to give people at the bottom more of a voice, if that makes sense. I guess.
By the way, I liked your. I do like. I go through your Instagram, and I do like your statements there, and sort of the things. They ring very true.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very. I didn't know you were a student until I looked you up. I was like, oh, that's pretty advanced in your thinking. That's really, yeah.
Thank you. That's very kind. the last thing that I wanted to ask, it's a bit cliche, but if you were to go back in time to when you first started design, what one piece of advice would you give yourself knowing what you know now?
Oh, a lot. Trust yourself more. Like I would keep the letterpress stuff or the gig poster stuff to myself. The separation was very clear about deliverable products, things and then you go home and do the stuff, and you think, oh, and which is fine, but it was important that I kind of walled them off for a while, and then realized, why am I not bringing stuff in and trusting myself a little more, just a little more, like as and that it will be okay. Everything. Graduating is terrifying. But I hit it all. I know no one knew that I was terrified, but you're just jumping off a cliff with both feet and with a lot of but you have a lot of new knowledge and stuff, and I was extremely driven. That's the one thing, as well. It's just like just not be afraid of myself. Like I still have to remind myself, just like stop doubting, like, and just I guess that's my biggest demon. So I is doubt. So that's kind of haunted me for 10 so years. But after a while, you start to be like, you know what, I think people might like this, and that makes me happy.
It's been fantastic talking to yourself. Thank you for taking the time, I guess.
No problem.
Hello, sorry. Yeah, it's just me again. I forgot to ask Chad his social media links, but if you want to find him on Instagram, his name is Chad Danieley, Danieley. He's also on LinkedIn, as I've just found out. Got an IMDb. No, that's probably not him. Oh no, does he have he might have an IMDb page, possibly. I hope you enjoyed that chat. Sorry if it was really unprofessional and odd sounding. This is my first time doing this. We'll get better with time, hopefully.